before she gets like tired of looking. So if you're degreed in this stuff and you know what you're supposed to be doing with a client to get the message right, your message, whatever your message is, will compete with the other messages on the page. They're written correctly. When she starts with the client, I don't care what it is. Say you're selling, I don't care, baby strollers. Then we will start with the client by saying, let us talk about who your target persona is, literally, and break it down. Your target persona, let's give her a name. Molly, mother to be. Okay, that's it. She's the one buying the baby stroller. Molly, mother to be. How pregnant is she? 4 months, 6 months? Okay, 7 months? Whatever. All right, now, is she in your market for the kind of baby strollers you're selling? Is she probably married or single? Is she probably poor? Does she have much time? Does she have a big neighborhood with sidewalks or not? And they literally go through all this stuff, literally, to figure out who that exact market persona would be. So that once they figure that much out, then they know how they're writing the page to attract that woman. Okay, then that woman, as she's glancing up or down, I'm just talking about woman as one angle. There's 50 million ways to view this stuff. It's just you need someone to agree to guide you through all that. Then you're writing the right pitch. So when you are seeing, whether it's a first, second, third page, you're the one that catches the eye because your message says the right thing, and not just some funny stuff like the Modern Woman's Divorce Guide, articles and resources from California attorney Helen Taylor. That's kind of interesting, but I'll bet that's not the one the woman stops on. Who's worried, she might feel broken, she might feel scared. A lot of divorcing women are probably broken and feeling broken and scared. What do I know? But you need to get somebody to draw that out properly from the person running the show so that you can get that dictated down. That is now a standard part of our professional WordPress process. Professional WordPress runs going through the production line are absolutely all about including that before even starting. We have to get the content right, not just throw me content, I work with it. It's up to you how good the content is. We make sure the content is exactly right before we even start. And what we found when we were using her is that the people on the phone were completely ecstatic after the call. They were blown away. 110% results, worth the money all by itself. Knowing that you're going to put out the right pitch, or a reasonably strong pitch, whatever that. Who can know what a right pitch is? But just a proper net casting sort of pitch for the right target market. Most people don't know how to do. Well, she's degreed and she's going to teach others, and we're going to expand our line based on people always doing that. That's part of the process now. It's huge. It has everything to do with sales in the end. Has everything to do with how much you really get clicked on when you do show up on a page. Okay, because that's where most sales are lost, is being one of the top 10 results, or any 10 results, any page, whatever the combination of keywords were, could be anything. The most results are lost when you're not clicked on, right? Okay, that's important stuff. By the way, we figured out tricks for video sitemaps. We can get videos to show up on front pages for lots and lots and lots of emojied out keyword combinations, and on the emojied out pages, so they're unique pages with videos that are labeled uniquely to go with, and you can't imagine what kind of an effect that's having. It's huge. It's better than anything we've ever done. Those of you who went through my WordPress chat before where we were talking about OnlyWire, forget that. We figured out far better stuff to do. Let me see. Let's talk about the production line. And logging in as admin, let me just give you half a clue. This thing is actually live and running, and this is a job that's happening right now. Now, there are no specialists on the line right now. We've just been training the mentors themselves, the supervisors, we call them mentors on the line, how to do their part, which is an interesting chat all by itself. Notice this is phase 1 to phase 9. Well, phase 0 to 9, there's 10 phases. It's really steps, you could say, in getting the process right. It takes these 10 steps to do a MOWG WordPress run professionally from end to end appropriately. One guy's got to deal with the template and the photoshopping. Another guy's got to deal with the var sheet. Somebody else has to do the keyword research. Somebody has to do this. Somebody has to do that, including the content development that comes at the beginning. All that stuff has to be done. Now, no one person. In the old days, we did all this stuff on our own. And we were good at the parts we were good at. We were lousy at the other parts we were lousy at. If you're not good at photoshopping, you can't get the results right. If you're not good at var sheets because you're just bad at English, you're not going to get that right. If you've been editing and proofreading and documents for journalists for years, which, as a matter of fact, Lynn, I think it's phase 4 is the var sheet development. She whipped out a var sheet, a large one, fast, and it was exactly right. We could only think of like one more synonym to add that would fit. She was just good. And why? Because she was qualified for that position. She came in and she did a run. We saw the quality and she just gave us a note about her. And we have a form for people to fill out where they can add information like that. Whether they're good at Photoshop, whether they're good at English, whether they've done anything in their background that relates to any one of the particular phases, so that they can become an expert in their phase. And so they work inside their phase, and they are supervised by someone who's already been there, done that for a long time. Whatever that means, several runs. A long time could be a week in our world. It could be 3 days in our world sometimes. But whatever the case is, this is cool. So how this breaks down is there's a supervisor for every step except the beginning and the end. They just don't require supervisors. They're called mentors. And the mentors can probably handle 3 to 5 people apiece. They're doing the jobs themselves right now. By the way, if you've been glancing over all this stuff, you probably see work is like insane and all this kind of thing. Don't worry about it. We just told people this, we're not worried about this yet because we're not judging you on how fast you can get your steps done this early in the game. The guy whose run this is based on has been all about understanding that this is not about him, or that this isn't about rushing. He's just lucky enough to be one of the earliest guys in through the system. But anyway, here's the point. So forget about the work. The point is this is correct. Okay. Now it's taken us like a week, but most of that has been based on teaching the people at each phase how to fill out their tasks. There are a lot of tasks to fill out and how to mark them off, how to hit the right buttons to transfer the files. And by the way, we've been upgrading that process. So we've gotten new things done. How to log little issues and stuff like that so that we can see any issues associated with a project so that we're always aware of it. So when a worker does the work, a specialist, then they pass it up to the mentor for review. Now, when the worker passes the work up to the mentor, they might note an issue and say, hey, I think I got it all right, but what do you think about paragraph 3? Or what do you think about column, B, C, D, or whatever it is, and so on. And that way the supervisor can double check and see what's going on. Here are documents associated with the task. So whenever the tasks are done, then they hit the button and it moves all the files to the next place where it needs to go. In some cases, work can be done at the same time. So we have, and I forget the order, but like phase 2 sends some work to 4, some work to 5, and some work to 7, all at the same time. But 7 still needs to wait for something from phase 3, or 5, or 6, or whatever it is, or 3. You see, but we figured it out. We figured out how to make it efficient and how to get this work happening right so that after this, runs are going to take, who knows, like a day or two from the time we get the content done and it just hits the block. We have a project manager, oversees the whole thing, knows where everything is all the time so that it can be tracked, so it can be accounted for. Workers that work for the mentors get really good at what they do, specialists. So what happens when we have more run demands and we have to clone the line? We have to have a second one. We basically copy paste this entire thing into a new line. Now, you can't really see clearly inside, but if I were just to give you a clue, I don't know what I'd click on here, maybe one of these. Yeah, see what makes any sense. Then what you're seeing, okay, fine, keyword research and strategy. These are the actual steps that have to be done to get that bit done. Now that bit's 100% done. We know it because as the guy did this and then did that and then did that and that and that, he'd mark them each off and the files that relate got uploaded to the document library where all the files go for this guy's work, okay, his phase. All right, and as he marks this off, then it figures out how complete everything is until the whole thing's done. And that's how this goes. These are individual steps that fall within a range, okay, like that. And all the stuff that we do is very serious. See all these tasks? There's like over 400 tasks to get the work done right.